Coming up on News Live at 6, a rally for good cause, what residents are saying about the legislation the city is considering to opt into.
It just truly was, it shaped who I am. I'm confident I would be who I am if I hadn't made that decision to go out to SU.
Plus, a former SU student is in Milan competing in the Paralympic Games starting next week. Her story of resilience next. But first, the winter isn't over yet. The system heading our way when News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is CitrusTV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
Well, if these warmer, non-freezing temperatures have made you think that spring is around the corner, think again. Welcome to News Live at 6 for this Thursday. I'm Welch.
And I'm Kaitlin Campbell. That's right, we can't kiss the snow goodbye just yet. A wintry system is heading our way this weekend. I don't know if I can do that again.
Yeah, we take a look. There is the quad right there and a radar of what's expected. It's looking like we're getting some sort of precipitation, whether that's snow, whether that's sleet, whether that's rain. It's looking pretty clear on the quad right now, but let's bring in our weather anchor, Sophia Braun, and she's in studio with us. Sophia, what can you tell about this upcoming weather?
So guys, as you can see from that radar, we're getting a lot of mix of things throughout this weekend, right? That's called this wintry mix. This radar in particular, as you can see, is focusing on precipitation in total. So the blue is going to get those colder temperatures. We're going to see that with the storms coming in later in the week. And over here with all of the green, that's going to be more condensed to rain, right? So during this time, based on the way that the temperatures are going to be fluctuating throughout the week and the weekend in particular, you're going to see that when it's a little bit warmer, we might get some more rain. When it gets towards that like 32 degree, a little bit below 32 degree mark, you're going to see more of the slush. And you can even see what we saw a little bit of yesterday was that hail, right? So there's all these different mixes and then maybe some snow. We can expect about an inch throughout the weekend, but that's going to be the overall look at just how this is going to pan through going into the weekend. I do want to take a look at temperatures right now here in Syracuse though. Right now, temperatures are sitting at 39 degrees. It feels more like 34 degrees though, and we have these 8 miles per hour winds, right? So winds aren't the main issue right now. It's more so this mix of rain and snow that we're going to see throughout that weekend. But taking a look ahead to tonight, temperatures are going to dip down to just about 37 degrees, and it's going to feel like 32 degrees. So we're hitting that freezing point, and we're going to have 9 miles per hour winds throughout the night. Let's take that look around the region though for right now, where just north of us in Oswego and in Utica, temperatures are sitting at 36 degrees and 34 degrees respectively. Just south of us in Penn Yan, in Ithaca, we're seeing temperatures sitting at just about 40 degrees. They're all within that same about 3 to 4 degree mark for right now, and we're going to keep an eye on that going into tonight and through the weekend. Guys.
Sophia, thank you so much. Well, for months now, the Syracuse Common Council has been debating whether or not to opt into the state's good cause eviction law, limiting when landlords can evict renters.
The law has been in place since 2024, but cities must opt in. Residents are downtown calling for local leaders to say yes. That's where we find our Jess Hooten, who is live with what these crowds are saying. Good evening, Jess.
Hi guys, I'm here at City Hall where we heard a variety of perspectives on the good cause eviction law, which has been in debate for years now. It was recently passed by surrounding areas like Ithaca and Albany, but this law would allow for tenants to have more rights to their housing. Supporters say they're looking for stability and justice in housing in Syracuse, as well as more rights and help for supporting the homeless community here. Outside beforehand, we heard from some people collecting to rally in support of the law. Here's what some of them had to say.
We need to protect these people. We need to have laws that protect their rights as tenants so that they can live full lives here.
Sure, there are problems. I've seen problems. But they have legal recourse. If there's problems with that, they need to deal with the courts, not fight against this law that makes the unprecedented steps of actually giving rights to people who have to rent to live.
Yeah, and so just upstairs, right here in the City Hall, we heard from people who were opposed to the law. Most of them being landlords themselves, saying they still want the right to evict any tenants that they see are an issue in their housing. Overall, there's been a significant debate going on, and the final vote will be on Monday. For CitrusTV News, I'm Jess Hooten.
Jess, thank you so much. A story that we will have the latest on here on Citrus TV News. Well, today, a SUNY Upstate medical worker was released from the Batavia ICE detention facility on bail after 4 months. Alex Ramirez-Gonzalez and his partner, Jan Hidalgo, were held since their arrest in October while waiting for an immigration hearing in court. Hidalgo was released yesterday on a $5,000 bond. Gonzalez posted a $15,000 bond and has been ordered to wear an ankle monitor.
Following big announcements at its State of the Airport earlier this month, Hancock International will begin major roadway and parking changes to prepare for construction of a new rental car facility. The multi-year project starts tomorrow and will close the entrance to overflow parking lot on the north side. That's the parking lot at the most top part of your screen. However, once construction has started, arrival lane B and the entirety of the overflow lot will close, meaning all passenger pickups will occur in the arrival for the next 14 months.
Last week, the New York Civil Liberties Union gave an F grade to the city of Syracuse on its water report card. The NYCLU has criticized the city for failing its legal and ethical duties to residents. They also handed New York State Attorney General Letitia James a C-. Our Boone Kilpatrick joins us in studio now to explain what these grades mean and what comes next. Boone.
Thanks, Luke. Scathing, it doesn't begin to cover, really. In the report, it states, quote, every level of government, city, county, state, and federal failed Syracuse residents both legally and ethically. Now that sums it up pretty neatly, but this report card was graded in two categories, a legal obligation grade and an ethical obligation grade. The city received Fs in both, and the criteria by which that was given was that the city, quote, engaged in extensive EPA-confirmed violations, mismanagement, and misleading public education, which the NYCLU claimed disproportionately was targeted at the black community. Now, in the report card, the main culprits were listed as the former Mayor Welch and Commissioner of the Water Department, Robert Brandt. Now, it wasn't just Syracuse that received Fs. Onondaga County was given an F in the ethics category for, quote, inadequately distributing water filters and promoting misinformation. Now, it wasn't all Fs on the report card. Attorney General Letitia James, as you said, Luke, received twin C- for failing to enforce the drinking water laws and demand change. The NYCLU outlined the criteria for these two grades. To score well in ethics, a high level of equitable work to restore water quality in the most vulnerable communities first was paramount, and on the legal side, a large emphasis was put on decisive action, neither of which was done. The bottom line is that years into the crisis, the NYCLU has found that the city of Syracuse not only didn't do enough, but that the city actively misled and covered up the issue through inadequate reporting. Now, Sharon Owens has made the issue a top priority in her State of the City address a few weeks ago. This is what she had to say.
My administration will continue to replace lead water pipes throughout our city. We are poised to complete 1,700 lead water service lines this year.
Now, clearly, there's a lot of work to do, not just to fix the water quality in the city, but to build back the reputational damage that this fiasco and the city's failure to address it has caused. Owens has made the water quality a top priority, but only time will tell if she can change the perception of the city's handling of the crisis. Guys?
Boone, thank you so much. Well, the Syracuse Mets have decided to continue to use their current name throughout the 2026 season, even after last year's community contest posed a new name entirely. The most popular submission out of 5,000 plus entries was Salt Potatoes. However, the team's general manager, Jason Smorrell, said the idea was rejected due to the name already being used by the team for an annual promotional weekend. Plans to change the name are now unknown for the time being, and they don't know if they're going to continue off of that contest or create a new name entirely.
Well, former Syracuse football player Robin Griffin died on Wednesday at the age of 75. Griffin was a member of the Syracuse 8, a group of black SU football players who sat out of camp before the 1970 season to protest racial discrimination within the program. The group is remembered as Trailblazers, with a mural of the 8 hanging in the JMA Dome today. Griffin is the third member of the historic group to have passed.
Well, Syracuse College of Law alum Katie Verdeber is also a Paralympian. She will be competing in wheelchair curling in Milan in March. Verdeber lost her ability to walk after a spinal injury while on Army deployment to Afghanistan.
Our Katie Jamroga had the opportunity to talk with Verdeber about her journey to Milan.
After kind of experiencing an injury like that, what have been some of the most challenging moments in your life, like both in the Paralympics and just in your life in general?
When things get really hard training and in this grind going up to the games, we all can fall back to those days where it's been way harder in our lives, right? We've overcome so much to get there, and it's just, we know how to lean on each other and support each other and get through it.
Do you take things you learned, not even just from Syracuse specifically, but from being in law school, do you apply any of those to your career or your life?
I'm confident I wouldn't be who I am if I hadn't made that decision to go out to SU. I certainly wouldn't have the friends that have pushed me along the way, and so it truly was incredible.
What do you hope everyone, but especially like veterans and people with disabilities, take away from your story?
You don't have to be healed to go and do successful things and be, forget about being a high level athlete, right? If you want to get back into the gym or you want to start getting out and just pushing yourself in your wheelchair, you don't have to heal and be okay with what's happened to you to do that. I think whether you're a person with disabilities or not, right? Like, it's okay to embrace the hard days and the bad times and still find a way to push through and be happy when it's good.
Katie, thank you so much for an amazing story. You can watch the full interview on our YouTube page.
The city of Syracuse is hosting a career fair next Thursday. The event runs from 10 to 2 and applications will be available on site for more than 50 positions open through the city. This includes water and sewer maintenance works and equipment operators. This comes just weeks after Mayor Owens' State of the City address, where she emphasized investing in the community through the workforce that serves it.
Today, Representative John Mannion announced that Syracuse's Mayor Sharon Owens will be his guest at the President's State of the Union address next Tuesday. The two have highlighted their shared message that the government should work people for the people. Both Democrats have publicly expressed their opposition to President Trump's immigration and deportation crackdown, but are willing to work with the White House to strengthen communities and transform the region for the better.
And the Empire State Development Agency has approved a $150 million housing production fund. The loan program will create 2,500 units in 5 years to ensure there is enough housing in central New York to meet the population growth expected with the Micron project. The fund combines public and private money that will be offered as low-interest loans. This will help housing developers finance the construction of mixed income and workforce housing developments in the counties around the Salt City. And Governor Kathy Hochul announced an additional $150 million in financial assistance for cities outside of New York City to relieve immediate financial stress. The funding will include an $100 million increase through the state, while also giving an additional $10 million grant to existing municipalities and cities like Syracuse. Buffalo has also received an additional $30 million. Hochul states that the funding is crucial to put all of New York City on stronger financial footing, improving communities in the process.
Coming up, President Trump held the first ever Board of Peace meeting. What this means for the war in Gaza next.
Plus, ICE has created difficulties within hospitals, how doctors are navigating a potential healthcare crisis when your campus news leader returns.
To an excellent episode of Live from Studio B.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse or across the nation, call the Citrus TV newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at Citrus TV News, your campus news leader.
Good talks are being had. It's proven to be, over the years, not easy to make a meaningful deal with Iran. We have to make a meaningful deal, otherwise bad things happen. But we have to make a meaningful deal. But they have a great relationship with the representatives of Iran.
That was President Trump earlier today at the inaugural Board of Peace meeting in Washington, D.C. Several countries attended this morning, yet some U.S. allies were absent. The basis of the conference was to focus on the next stage of the ceasefire in Gaza.
A newly created International Stabilization Force announced that Indonesia, Morocco, Kazakhstan, Kosovo, and Albania have pledged troops to Gaza. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also reiterated his claim that Gaza will not be rebuilt until Hamas disarms.
All this comes as the U.S. has set a 10 to 15-day time limit to reach a nuclear program deal with Iran. The Trump administration has increased the military presence in the Middle East, adding 2 aircraft carriers in the Arabian Sea and the Gibraltar Strait, respectively, though these negotiations have been going on for nearly 4 decades. From D.C. to Philadelphia today, workers began restoring an exhibit of the lives of 9 formerly enslaved individuals at the former president's house. This comes after a federal judge set a Friday deadline for the Interior Department to restore the exhibit on the people enslaved by George Washington.
The Trump administration argues that it alone can decide what stories are told at the National Park Service properties. A senior U.S. district judge on Monday granted an injunction ordering that the materials be restored while the lawsuit proceeds, barring Trump officials from creating new interpretations of the site's history.
Well, former Prince Andrew of the UK was arrested by British police today on suspicion of misconduct in public office for his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Police previously said they were investigating reports that the former royal sent trade information to Epstein while he was Britain's special envoy for international trade.
This marks the first time in nearly 400 years that a senior British royal was placed under arrest. King Charles has not provided detail on the arrest, saying, quote, "Let me state clearly, the law must take its course. As the process continues, it would not be right for me to comment further on this matter," end quote.
As President Trump's administration continues its immigration crackdown, healthcare providers warn about the impacts of federal agents in healthcare settings. In Minneapolis, officers lined the hallways in multiple hospitals following the Trump administration's decision to rescind the policy that banned immigration enforcement in, quote, sensitive areas.
Doctors have spoken out, saying their job is to solely care for the patient, which cannot be done properly if patients are afraid to receive healthcare services. While federal immigration agents are allowed in healthcare settings where other members of the public are permitted, like waiting rooms, agents need a warrant to access private patient areas.
After the break, I'll have a look at your 5-day forecast. Stay with us.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. Let's take a look at your 5-day forecast. Starting with tomorrow, temperatures are going to be sitting at a high of 42 degrees. You can expect some clouds and a little bit of snow showers throughout the day with a low of 30 degrees. Going into Saturday, though, those temperatures are going to dip down to just about 34 degrees at a high and a low of 22 degrees with some clouds continued. Then going into Sunday, you're going to see a high of 32 degrees with those potential of snow showers, sleet, and rain with a low of 21 degrees. On Monday, that's going to continue with a high of 30 degrees and a low of 18 degrees. And on Tuesday, it's going to dip down temperature-wise even a little bit further with those highs with a high of 27 degrees and a low of 20 degrees. So I do want to talk about the fact that here in Syracuse, our definition of spring weather is, let's just say, at least in the 40s for a solid week, right? So Luke and Kaitlin, I do have a question for you. Do we think that spring is truly around the corner with that criteria? When do we think the temperatures will be above 40 degrees? I'm going to give you some options, all right? So our first one, do we think it's coming February 22nd to February 28th? Sounds promising, I know.
That's soon.
Or March 1st to March 7th? Let's see, what about March 15th to March 21st? And last option I'll give you is April 5th to April 11th, which sounds a little scary. So what do you guys think?
I'm going B. I feel like there's always good weather right around spring break when we're like about to all leave campus and it's like, here, it's summer.
Especially with that winter weather system that we talked about earlier coming in soon. I don't know if it's coming soon. I'm going to say C just to have a different answer, but I know we'd love to see warm weather for our birthday month. Tell us, Sophie.
Well, guys, I know we definitely want to see that earlier B, but it is C. We're going to see when we come back from spring break. I know. So temperatures will be in the 40s at least for a week. We are going to keep an eye on that as it is pretty far away. But you can at least expect to mark your calendars for March 15th, and we'll start really seeing the sun come out. So, guys.
Sophie, thank you so much. Well, now to a not-so-sweet shock out of Pennsylvania. The grandson of the inventor of Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, Brad Reese, has accused the Hershey Chocolate Company of cutting corners by shifting to cheaper ingredients. Companies such as Hershey have changed the wording on their packaging in recent years by labeling the chocolate as now chocolate candy or as a peanut cream to get around U.S. Food and Drug Administration rules.
Due to these changes, Reese claims that Hershey is destroying the original brand's motto of trust and quality by making the chocolate inedible.
Well, you know what else is sweet is a Syracuse women's ice hockey overtime win. Jared Valentin, what's coming up in sports?
Still to come on Citrus TV News, USA added another gold medal to its collection. Sports coming up after this.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
The Winter Olympics roll on. Syracuse men's basketball wants revenge, and pack your bags because SU men's lacrosse hits the road. Welcome into sports. I'm Jared Valentin. A long Olympic battle in women's ice hockey has finally come to an end, and America is the last country left standing. USA earned gold after it took down Canada 2-1 in overtime earlier today. In a comeback for the ages, Canada got the scoring started with a shorthanded goal in the second period from Kristen O'Neill, and from there it looked like USA would be held scoreless, but with 2 minutes left, Hillary Knight scored her 15th Olympic goal, becoming the all-time leader in both men's and women's ice hockey history. Big-time players making big-time plays. That sent the game into overtime, where Megan Keller fired the game winner 4 minutes in. USA earned its first gold medal in women's ice hockey since 2018, and Syracuse head coach Brittany Smith walks away with silver for her time as an assistant coach for Canada. To the basketball court, SU men's hoops' loss to number 3 Duke Monday night was more than one to forget. The 37-point thumping was the largest of the head coach Adrian Autry era, the worst conference loss for Syracuse since joining the ACC, and tied for the 5th worst defeat in program history. However, SU can put that in the rearview mirror and bounce back to against number 16 North Carolina Saturday afternoon. UNC star forward Caleb Wilson suffered a hand fracture last week against Miami, and that loss has been detrimental for the Tar Heels. Without the team's leading scorer and rebounder, North Carolina was walloped by NC State 82-58 Tuesday night, UNC's largest loss all season. Tar Heels head coach Hubert Davis reported Tuesday that Wilson is already on track to return soon. UNC beat SU by 10 when the two met up earlier this month. Tip-off is at 1 o'clock from the JMA Wireless Dome. If you haven't gotten to see Syracuse men's lacrosse in the Dome yet this season, well, now you won't for a while. And that's because the Orange embark on their biggest and longest road trip since 1972. 6 games, 4 ranked opponents, and over 5,000 miles. It all starts on the East Coast with a pair of NCAA tournament rematches. SU visits number 14 Harvard Saturday, who the Orange sent home in overtime in last year's first round. Then, Syracuse tangos with number 12 Princeton, whose season had ended 8 months ago in round 2. 48 hours later, the Orange cap off their Ivy League slate against Penn, who Syracuse hasn't lost to since 1919. Afterwards, it's a date with number 13 Johns Hopkins. The Orange used a 3-goal fourth quarter to fend off the Blue Jays last year, and that's all on the East Coast. Then Syracuse flies 1,700 miles to Colorado for its final 2 games. SU battles Air Force for the first time since 2002, and last but very not least, the near month-long road trip ends at number 17 Denver, the nation's top defense at 3 goals allowed per game. Altogether, that's 23 days away from snowy Syracuse. Wrapping up in the NBA, it's a battle of 2 beasts in the East tonight. The Knicks welcome the Pistons in each team's first game post-All-Star break. Both squads entered the weekend winners of 8 of their last 10. New York 6 games behind Detroit right now for first in the Eastern Conference. Tip-off between these 2 heavyweights is at 7:30 from Madison Square Garden. That does it in sports. Kaitlin, Luke, back to you guys.
Jared, thanks so much. When we come back, we'll have one last look at your wake-up weather.
Stick with us.
Welcome to my house. Everybody's pretty tired of each other. The walls were closing in. Clearly a case of too much family, too close, 24/7. If this sounds like your house, try going someplace new. YourLifeYourVoice.org. You'll find lots of ideas to help you handle the family stresses of being confined to close quarters. YourLifeYourVoice.org. It could help you find a little more breathing room.
Baby, you see, you're so right for me, and I'm right for you. I love the things you do, like sweet tasting wine. Your lips are so divine. Your loving turns me on. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go. Baby, never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. Let's take a look at your wake-up weather. When you wake up tomorrow morning, temperatures are going to be sitting at 38 degrees. It's going to feel more like 28 degrees, though, and those are going to be due to those 21 miles per hour wind gusts. Luke, Kaitlin?
I'm sure to wear my jacket. Sophie, thank you. Well, that's Citrus TV News Live at 6 for this Thursday.
Don't forget, you can follow us on X and Instagram at Citrus TV News. Now for the entire Citrus TV News team, I'm Caitlin Campbell.
And I'm Luke Welch. Have a safe weekend, Syracuse.